If you are aiming to apply for the Global Talent Visa through Tech Nation, that's the digital technology route, this video is an action-packed roadmap that would actually help you to build your portfolio towards applying for the Global Talent Visa. Today, I'm not just talking about putting together your documents. I'm actually going to show you some things that you need to do to be able to qualify for the Global Talent Visa, even if you don't qualify right now. If you are new here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I drop videos on AI, technology, and Global Talent Visa as a whole. So let's dive in. So applying for Global Talent Visa, you must be able to show that you're a leader or you're a potential leader. So I'm just going to go through some of the activities or some of the actions you're supposed to take to be able to show or to showcase your leadership skill to Tech Nation, to tell them if you are a leader already or a potential leader. So I'm going to go through it step by step. If you want to get a document list and checklist of this action being highlighted, and just so that you can follow through, join my Global Talent Hub community. That document is definitely there, and once you join, you'll be able to access the document. So the first thing you need to do is to go through the guideline line by line. Yeah, I understand that it might be a lot, and if you watched my previous video on Global Talent Visa, I actually broke down the guideline step by step. I won't be doing that in this video. So understand the guideline, understand what is needed, and also understand that, okay, some of the things that are written there might not be straightforward. Okay, will this work? If I speak at this event, will this work? I'm going to answer those questions in this video. Make sure you understand what is needed to get endorsed by Tech Nation, understand the mandatory criteria, and understand the optional criteria. For the mandatory criteria is just one. You have to put those documents together. And for the optional criteria, you are given 4 options and you are allowed to choose 2. And between these 4 options, we have the proof of innovation, proof of work beyond day-to-day, proof of significant contribution to the technology field, and also proof of academic excellence, right? So if you can look into it, which one suits me more, which one suits me best, and if anyone doesn't suit you yet, it's fine. You can definitely work towards one suiting you. Okay, so I'm going to just talk about each of them and what you should do to achieve these evidences, or to be able to gather these evidences into your portfolio and to be able to submit them for Tech Nation. So the first thing you need to do is to be able to prove that you are a leader. So what can you do to prove that you are a leader? These are the actions, or these are the things you can do to prove that you are a leader. You must first aim for high salary. You must be able to aim for high salary. Secondly is that you must be able to speak at high profile events. So if you don't have any speaking engagement as of now, which is understandable, you can definitely start working towards it. You can, look on Meetup, Eventbrite. You can reach out to organizers. If you have friends that host events, you can even host one yourself. I understand that some of these events might not be high profile, but speaking engagement or having speaking profile in your portfolio can actually help you, not just for the mandatory criteria, but even for the optional criteria. You can also volunteer. Volunteering is a big deal that can be added to your portfolio that you can use to show that you contribute to an initiative. Okay, so an example is, if you're a student, you could contribute to an initiative like Google Developers Club, help them, with strategy, bringing together students, teaching them about technology and all of those things. That is a big deal, right? And you can definitely add that to your portfolio to show that you have this leadership skill, or you're a potential leader, or one or two things like that. Actually, this video is majorly for people that are yet to be qualified for Global Talent and are planning to apply. So volunteering is very, very important. You can also mentor. What do you know? You can definitely apply to some mentorship programs that can show you are a leader. One thing is, as a leader, you impact. That's one thing you need to know. So what Tech Nation wants to see is your level of impact. Your level of impact. Yeah, high salary is good, but they want to see how much you've been able to impact people, impact organization in the digital technology field. So those two, how you've been able to impact people and how you've been able to impact organization, those are the core things when it comes to building your portfolio for the global talent visa and for you to get endorsed. So I mean, these are the things that you can do to be recognized as a leading talent, which can stand as your mandatory criteria. Also, for the mandatory criteria, you can work on getting awards, notable awards. If you have already gotten some, it's good. You can also work on publishing articles on notable platforms. Medium articles are not recognized or accepted. So notable platforms like Guardian, Forbes, Tech Cabal, all these tech platforms that have good following and good readers on their platform. So publishing your articles on those ones are actually very recognized, and how much this article helped people, how many people it's reached, these are the metrics that you will need to submit. Now let's move into the optional criteria. Proof of innovation. So how can you prove innovation? What can you do to be able to prove innovation? So the first thing you can do to be able to prove innovation is to work on side projects and publish it. So it's more like, I have this idea, especially if you're a developer, if you're a product person, even cybersecurity expert, anything that you do at all in the digital technology field, you can actually work on side projects. Think of something, or what is the problem people are facing? And one thing about this proof of innovation is it doesn't even have to have grown super big. In fact, they allow innovations that have closed down, or maybe you built a company and it has closed down. They allow it definitely. So you can definitely work on side projects and publish it. So work on side projects and publish it on GitHub. So some of the side projects you can work on, you can look into current emerging technologies like AI project, blockchain projects, fintech, and a lot more. So you can definitely solve a problem in those sectors and put it in your portfolio. Another thing you can do to prove innovation is, you don't necessarily have to be the owner of the product, but you must actually be part of the ideation. So you can co-develop a product with somebody. You have to show the patent of that product. If it has generated revenue, you have to show it. Metrics is very important. One thing you need to know is that documented outcome is more important than vague ideas. You don't just write, I innovated a COVID-19 platform. Okay, what does the COVID-19 platform do? How did it help people, right? How did it help organizations or individuals? So those are the things that you need to put in your portfolio. Now moving on to the OC2, which is optional criteria 2, and what is required of you. So what is required of you for optional criteria 2, which is your proof of work beyond day-to-day, is simple. What can you do outside of your work beyond your 9 to 5? It's as simple as that. So if you put what you are doing in your 9 to 5 under this criteria, it will be rejected. It will definitely be rejected. So they are asking you, okay, outside of your 9 to 5, outside of what you do for money, money, what else do you do to contribute to the digital technology space? And you might be asking, what can I do to contribute to the digital technology space aside my 9 to 5? Number 1 is mentorship. Number 2 is speaking engagement. Number 3 is training people, right? Number 4 is contributing to open source. Number 5, you can organize events and educate people. These are just a few things. One thing you need to note is that they prefer more of in-person talks than online events. It's very important. So you can plan to have at most or at least 5 events in your portfolio. And those events does not necessarily need to be high profile, but at least good attendance, like 100 attendance, at least 100 attendance. And also your mentorship, they don't allow online mentorship like ADP list, all these platforms that you mentor on. Structured mentorship is important. So you could work with all these communities that mentor people. I can mention a few: For Africa, Afriment, Talenvo. I'm talking about mentorships in Nigeria. Some that are not in Nigeria, internationally, there's She Can Code Community, there is She Code Africa, there is Women Who Code, and a lot more of that you can actually volunteer or apply to mentor their community members. So these ones are structured mentorship that you can add to your portfolio. And when you are putting your document together in this part of the criteria, your speaker invitation are very important. Pictures are good. Put in pictures there. Invitation is important. The conversation between the invitee and the inviter is also very important. I see a lot of people just put picture. They have to be able to see that you actually officially invited for this event or for this speaking engagement or whatever that you did. In terms of open source, to contribute to open source, these are things that you can do outside of your work, beyond day-to-day. Do trainings, okay? Like educate people. You can do videos, educate people. The numbers count, the metrics count, and what you do count. But don't forget, impact on people, impact in organization is very, very important. Now moving on to the next one, which is for OC3. What can you do to show that you have contributed significantly to the digital technology space? You might be wondering, what's the difference between OC2 and OC3? What's the difference between optional criteria 2 and optional criteria 3? It's a whole lot to comprehend. To be honest, there are some similarities, like the open source. You can use open source for optional criteria 2 and you can use open source for optional criteria 3. The only thing is that you cannot repeat the same evidence for different criteria. You must not. It is not allowed. Okay, so there are some interwoven things that you can do there, but when it comes to significant contribution, speaking is not recognized, mentorship is not recognized. So what is recognized when you come to significant contribution? One of the things that is recognized is that maybe you were a key engineer or a key developer in the build of a product or a service, of a tangible product or service, or high impact product or service. So when it comes to high impact product or service, I will give an example. So let's say you're part of a team that built a COVID-19 system in the year 2020, and that COVID-19 system actually helped 1 million people in Nigeria to be able to track their health during COVID-19. That is just an example. Now that is an high impact project, even though it's a one-time thing or anything like that, you can still definitely use it. So why am I saying all of this? Global Talent Visa is actually for people of impact. You need to know that, okay? So I understand that a lot of people don't like to speak, they don't like the social media buzz, all of these things. Then you have to look into other side of the things you can do. Mentorship. If you don't want to speak, do mentorship. If you don't want to speak, you can do training. If you don't want to speak or do training, contribute tangibly to projects or to people, right? So it is very, very, very important. I know it's not everybody that is the online person, but everybody has to be a person of impact. That is how you can be recognized as a global talent. And if you can, try to get international opportunities, even for speaking engagement, for community mentorship, and for some of the things you can do, but it's not exactly super important. But if you can get it, it adds to your credibility. Okay. Going back to OC3, what are the things you can do to build up your portfolio for OC3? I've already mentioned one, being a key engineer or a key person in the build of an high impact product or service. Number 2 is that you started an open source. Maybe you have an idea and you don't want to build it alone. You can start an open source, post it on LinkedIn, let people contribute to it, and that open source actually helped some people, right? So you can start or contribute significantly to an open source. Okay, another thing is that you can also try to lead a project or lead a wave of a project or a service, and that can be like a significant contribution. And that project is not necessarily high impact, but you led the success of a project is also very, very important. So as a developer, as whatever you are, or whatever it is that you want to submit at. And if you are into the business part of tech, which is like, let's say, product managers, business analysts, or something like that, you must have contributed to the growth of a product-led organization, which is more like, what did you do as a product manager? How did you contribute to the growth of this particular organization? You must be able to show metrics. Metrics are important. So for your significant contribution, these are the things you can look into doing if you don't currently do them. And if you have done them or you currently do them, document them. It's very important. If you can't get screenshots from your employer and all of those things, make sure you state out metrics significantly and have someone for that organization to write a reference letter to be able to back up whatever you will be saying in your evidence. And also another thing is that you must keep this tangible and recent, something within the last 5 years. Now moving on to the next thing that you need to do, which is the academic excellence OC4. If you want to go through the academic excellence route, which is picking that option, a lot of people don't pick that, like I said in my last video, but it is also an option. You can try to, if you are, if you love academics a lot and you are in tech, you can try to contribute to publications with professors or lecturers, and that publication must have been used or must have helped students, professors, lecturers, people in the academic fields. You must have good academic grades. Maybe you're a first class. So if you're a student now planning to apply for Global Talent Visa later, I think it's something you can actually work towards. Having a first class, publishing, you can start with your project in terms of publishing or publications, right? And you can work with a lecturer to be able to help you push this publication to, different universities and all of that. It's something that you can definitely work on, right? Also, you must have received awards, like that first class honor is an award, right? And all of that. So it is very, very important that you are able to show all of this when it comes to the OC form. For recommendation letters, I actually said in my last video that the people that must give you your recommendation letter, they must have good profile. Like, it is very important for them to have good profiles. You need credible people to be able to write your recommendations, to recommend you as a global talent. And you can also add to it reference letters. Reference letters are the ones that actually talks about your work in the community or with a particular organization. It is very, very important. Some people have been rejected because they said that there's no third party where they can actually confirm everything that you've said, which is actually credible. Because imagine telling me that you've done this, you've done that, but there's no way I can prove it. There's no way you can prove it. So that's where reference letter comes in. They help you, back up whatever you have been able to say in your evidence. So with all of this evidence and with all of these steps that I've mentioned, you must label your document properly. Label your document properly. It is very, very important. And in each of your documents, include a brief. Metrics are important. Metrics, they are quite important. So include metrics, include images for references, include links. Google Drive links are not accepted, so include credible links, right? Though they started frowning at links at the moment, so reduce the number of links, use more of images, contracts, reference letter to back up your evidences. And those images must have your name, because if it doesn't show you or your name, then it literally shows that you can get this image from Google or from somewhere else. So make sure that in your documents you allow your assessors to understand your impact. So putting everything together now, for your MC, your OC1, OC2, OC3, OC4, I think I've been able to actually tell you some of the things you can do to prepare towards applying for Global Talent Visa, especially if you don't qualify at the moment. And please don't ever look down on yourself that you don't qualify. Looking at some of these things that people have spoken to and I've told them all of this and they're like, oh, I have this, I have that. So yeah, so just look inwards, look at the things you've been able to do over the years, put them together and try to apply. Just make sure that you show the metrics properly, you put your documents properly together, and you are able to show them your impact. I have created a document checklist and a portfolio action, which I mentioned from the beginning of this video, which actually highlights step by step on what you can do, the actions you need to take, and how to score high in each criterion. This is only accessible to community members. So if you want to get this checklist, make sure to join my community and you'll be able to access this document. If this video has actually helped you and enlightened you more on what to do towards your preparation for Global Talent Visa, please don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment so that I can drop more videos and so that these videos can reach more people. See you in my next video.